right there producing these cars. This is not hometown. This is not the family gets together. And I know what he's saying. This individual said to me, and he's right. I can remember being 4 and 5 years old, literally knocking the windows out of a car with my dad, stripping out the interior. Him and my dad, or my dad, my uncle, myself. I'm a little kid, but I'm doing what I can to help. Dad's building a race car. All right, this is cool. Putting a roll cage in, right? Taking the headlights out, and went racing in the J class, which was J stood for jalopy. Had a race car, and you were having a good time. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Okay, so and my whole point in this, I'm going to come back around to what I'm talking about. I bought used shocks. I bought used shocks and took them to Jeremy at Left Coast. I got nice shocks for $240. $240. And what kind of car? Those are going on I'm assuming, talking to Roy, I'm sure they're going on a Pro Stock. Okay. Pro Stocks have some good limited rules. I like that division for that because it's trying to keep everybody. Right. Yep. It's trying to keep what we're talking about active. Things are getting out of control. And what does that do? That creates tension in the pit area. When you've got guys that are used to winning, guys using to be top dog, and now you've got guys showing up that are saying, hey, you know what? New shocks. New tire on the right rear every week. $50,000 engine under the hood. 950 horse. Brand new quick change. I mean, you're talking about the best of the best. Not everybody can do that.
Nope.
Okay? Now, if I'm a guy that's got a car that, even in dirt late models today, if I've got a car that is 6 to 10 years old, I hate to say it, that car's outdated. That car is outdated. As far, I'm talking top tier. In the old days, you could take a car for 10 years and still be a top guy. Not anymore. So you have to look at your program. You have to look at your program and what you're doing. If I'm a guy on a budget that's got a 10-year-old car that can't run up front in the top 5 or 6 of my division, I've got two choices. Spend more money or drop down a class. Am I right when I say that?
I think so, yeah. Mm-hmm. It totally makes sense.
I talked to a couple guys on modifieds, and they said, we know we're never going to win one of these races.
You're never going to win if you say that.
We enjoy being here. If we happen to get lucky and win,
anybody that approaches a race with that kind of mindset, you're right, is not going to win. I don't care what sport you're playing.
They said they're there just because they love it.
But that comes back to the hometown feel that's just not there anymore.
To me, those are hometown racers.
And that hometown feel's been going away, like you said earlier, 5-10 years. Mm-hmm. It even goes back into the 90s. I think about back when I raced, and I'm watching these guys that are running $2,500 motors and a $500 claimer car.
Mm-hmm. No. Mm-mm.
It's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, anybody could buy that car from you, even a fan in the stands, for $500.
Right.
And they got a $2,500 motor in those.
Now, if you want to keep grassroots hometown field, enforce those rules. IMCA still has those rules. Claimer rules are still there. Nobody does it. Why? And what's that going to do? It creates tension. If you win the race and I finish in the top 5 and I come up and claim your shocks, I've got to give you X amount of dollars and my shocks. I'm going to tell you something right now. If your shocks aren't what they're supposed to be and you're winning races, and I'm one of you, say we're friends, Gary, and I come up and claim your shocks, guess what? That friendship probably isn't going to last. This gentleman's agreement of not claiming, nobody does it. The guys used to do it. And that was there to keep guys from putting in $50,000, $60,000 in engines and all that stuff. Nobody does that anymore.
Nope.
Okay? Why? Because everybody's trying to get the advantage, and they know.
I think it goes deeper than that. I think it goes to we're losing drivers.
Because of the cost of the sport.
The cost of the sport, right? So let's just include everybody in this. So you run what you brung is pretty much what it has come down to, it seems like.
That would be okay. Listen, Ed's listening from home. I want to read Ed's statement. Good old community family racing went out the door years ago due to the advancement of technology. Huge price increases for parts and lack of sponsorship for the everyday race driver. Once the prices went up to the everyday family guy, or once the prices went up, the everyday family guy was pushed out of the market to be competitive. Absolutely, 100% spot on. That is absolutely what I'm saying right there. That is a simple fact.
When the drivers go also, and it's a whole nother aspect of it, but the fans go with them. You see decreased attendance everywhere.
Right?
Everywhere.
Things work in cycles. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're in a time now. Cycles are going to be a bad thing because drops are going to be big. Guys are leaving the sport every day because of the cost. You still got your guys that do it because they can. If I could, I would. I would still have a hard time justifying it, but because of my love of the sport, I would probably still do it if I could. I don't blame these guys that go out and buy $50,000 engines. You want to win? They're not doing it for money, okay? There's no Lucas Oil out west. There's no big-time series or corporate sponsorship. These guys out here aren't doing it for money. They're doing it for fun because they love the sport. Now, if they can spend $50,000 on an engine and another $35,000, $40,000 on a roller and win races, good for them. That's what it takes. Talent, it takes talent, but I'm saying to be competitive, to even be competitive, that's what you're looking at. That's what you're looking at, and that is a bad, bad thing for the sport. Okay, and if you think I'm even close to kidding, take a look at the state of late model racing in California. It is non-existent. There are so many late models parked around that state not racing because the cost of the cars, the cost of travel, tracks are spread out, cost of entry fees, and purses. Guys, drivers, and teams look around the country and say, well, those guys are racing regularly for $5,000 to $10,000 to win, or $40,000, or you look at the World 100 now is up at close to $60,000, and weekly shows around here are everybody's paying right around $1,000.
Yeah.
Which honestly, that in our area, that's great. $1,000 is great. But you got to spend all that money to race for $1,000.
Right.
There's guys that get discouraged by that. There's guys that say, you know what, I'm going racing.
And I was the kind of guy that would squeeze every nickel out of my car I could, right? So you run things as far as you can. You're buying people's takeoffs. You're putting them on your car so you can go out there and have a good time and do everything you can to win. My hope was, hey, I'm running 5th position right now. What if the top 4 wipe out?
It could happen.
I could win, and that was the exciting part to me was that. And I knew I had some sort of a shadow of hope that even if I'm starting in the back of a field of 20, I could still win.
So the guys that were telling me, hey, when they wipe out in front of me, then I'll win.
So Roy Bain hit us up again and says Lucas Oil is California-based. Lucas Oil is California-based,
wow.
And their main demographic in their own state has it's on life support barely. I mean, and that that right there, that sucks. That Lucas Oil is based right there in the state of Oregon, right here in the West Coast, and all their sponsorship. You look where it's at. It's all on the East Coast. It's all on the corporate side. The big names. I get it. I understand they want to sell their product, but why are they not helping to do something out here? It's because it's gotten so out of hand. Guys are dropping off like flies. It sucks to see. I mean, Gary, you and I were at the track when there would be 150 cars, 60 late models. Mm-hmm. Those days are gone.
Just lucky to get 20, 25.
Absolutely. If you can get 20, 25, you're doing great. Mm-hmm. A couple of weeks ago, there's that track over in Cottage Grove. Had 29 late models because nobody else in the state was running late models. 29 showed up for $500 to win.
500 to win. But it was race night. They had to go somewhere, right? And the guys that could travel and afford to travel went.
Everybody went. That right there will tell you. And this is what sucks to say. Those drivers. How do I word this? 2 things I've learned just this season. Okay, from a very wise man that I've been talking to. He says, number 1, and I've learned this just this season. Number 1, racers are not loyal. And I said, oh, no. I said, I have to disagree with you. He said, racers are not loyal. He says, number 2. Number 2, doesn't matter how much money you put up. Not all of them are going to come. This is $4,000 to win coming up in 3 weeks? 22 days from today, right? Is that what it is? What's today's date?
No, today's the 7th. You're
7th.
talking just 2 weeks.
No, it's the 24th.
How many would show up if you made it 10,000 to win, you think?
Same amount as if it's 4,000 to win.
Thank you.
They'd be coming in from everywhere, I think, for that.
Well,
I don't know.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
No, I am not putting up $6,000 for that. Don't even ask me that.
Okay.
Without big purses, it will decline. A vicious circle causes the purses to stay low. The track attendance, and car count. All that affects. So, and we've had this discussion earlier in the year. When a race promoter in your region, Gary, you're promoting a track, let's just say an hour and a half from me, okay? You're paying $500 to win for late models, okay? Remember, I'm an hour and a half from you.
Yeah.
And I'm paying $1,000 to win, and we're drawing the same amount of cars. Why? Are these guys really not willing to drive an extra hour and a half for an extra $500, a shot at an extra $500? I had this $4,000 to win race. I have had I've had some of the craziest things said to me the last couple of weeks. $4,000 win is great. What's it pay through the field? I understand that. Guys don't want to show up and have, race for $100 to win to make the field, whatever. More than one driver actually said to me, pay $2,500 to win and spread that money through the rest of the field. Great thought. It's a great theory, and I'm not against that. But $4,000 to win, second place is going to pay something, and third place is going to pay something. Okay, 4, 2, and 1. $7,000 just in the top 3. That right there is what most tracks will spend on their purse the entire night for all cars combined. Almost. A little short, but almost. In this area, it's right around
8 to 10 total.
$8,500. Yeah. We've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people, and the average purse payout, top to bottom, for all divisions combined, the last few years have been right around $8,500. Southern Oregon's paying out $7,000 just in the top 3 spots for late models that night. Also have winged sprint cars and some other classes on the card. I mean, this is where it starts, okay? This isn't going to be a show where you're going to be racing against 7 to 9 late models, maybe 10 if you're lucky, for $500 or $750 to win. This is $4,000 to win, and I am personally challenging the best of the best. If you consider yourself good, if you consider yourself elite, you want to come out and run against the best and see where you're at, this is the show you need to be at. Hands down, the show you need to be at. Mm-hmm. Okay? I don't care if you're in Oregon, Washington, California, Nevada, Arizona. I'm calling everybody out. If you think you've got a sack, if you think you're good, if you want to run against the best, this is your chance right here. We know we got California guys coming. I haven't confirmed any particular person from Washington, but I've confirmed a lot of, really good cars from Oregon. Come see where we're at. Showcase your talent. Show us what you've got. Give the fans a reason to be excited about late models. Give them a reason to come to the track. Not that the other classes don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. But everybody knows my passion for late models. This is a class that is struggling, and it kills me to see. I love street stocks. Heck, it's at Southern Oregon. What just happened?
You're still on. Go ahead and just click out of that.
You're still here?
Yeah.
Here? You're still on. Here.
Yeah, you're fine.
We're experiencing technical
it's not technical difficulty. It's me. Right here.
I would not do that. There you go.
It's not technical difficulties. It's me. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I'm talking about Southern Oregon Speedway, mini stocks and Hornets. Phenomenal racing.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, Gary,